Hey guys, this is part 5 of an ongoing series. What if Goku always wore weighted clothing? So far, we haven't seen much difference in the plot aside from easier battles, and some somewhat impressive feats delivered by Goku. He just faced off against Yamcha, who chipped a tooth and gave them a car for free. Their ulterior motives cannot be any more obvious, but they gave them the car so they can follow them and steal the Dragon Balls from them once they collect all 7. In case anyone was confused. Either way, let's get the episode started. Goku, Bulma, and Oolong are driving along a dirt road when they finally come up to Fire Mountain. Before them stands a giant inferno cascading over a castle. Oolong takes a big gulp, then says, "Yep, that's Fire Mountain. Are you sure we can't just turn back and go home?" Bulma shushes him and says, "Nonsense. I bet it's in the Ox King's castle." Goku hops out of the car and looks up at the mountain. Oolong says, "The Ox King will have our heads. We really shouldn't be going up there. Aren't you scared?" Goku says, "My grandpa taught me to be fearless." Oolong says, "I think I should get out of here." Bulma cuts him off quickly and says, "If you leave now, I will just say, 'Piggy Piggy,' again, and you'll be on a one-way trip to stomach issues." Oolong groaned and said, "Fine." Behind them, Yamcha and Puar are waiting for their next move. Yamcha laughs and says, "This is perfect. The Ox King will tear poor old defenseless Goku limb from limb, and when that happens, boom. We swoop in and take the Dragon Balls. We'd only need to collect one after that anyway. How hard could it be?" Suddenly, a scream is heard from behind them. Upon looking, a girl running from a T-Rex can be seen. The girl then turned around, threw the sharp blade from the helmet she was wearing, and cut the head of the T-Rex clean off. She opened her eyes and saw the beheaded T-Rex and screamed once more. She yelled out, "Gross! Look what I did!" "You!" and then pressed a button on the side of her helmet that caused a beam to fire out, vaporizing the entire T-Rex body. She continued running while crying, running into Yamcha. Yamcha blankly said, "Hey, good job?" The girl said, "I am not supposed to talk to strangers," and started firing a laser from her hat again. Yamcha dodged the beam and then knocked the girl out, claiming, "Geez, that girl is dangerous." Puar and Yamcha then leave the girl on the ground, knocked unconscious, and begin their journey up Fire Mountain, following behind Goku and the others. Once Goku and the others made it to the top, Bulma said, "It's way too hot here. I can't stand this heat," as flames engulfed everything around them. Oolong said, "Shh, keep your voice down. I don't want the Ox King to hear us." Bulma looked down at her dragon radar and said, "Hey Goku, think you could fly up to the castle and get the Dragon Ball?" Goku nodded as he yelled out, "Flying Nimbus!" Oolong said, "Hey Goku, knock it off, will ya?" The Ox King definitely had to have heard that. Goku then flew up above the castle and looked down. Goku said to himself, "Wow, it sure does feel hot. Well, here goes." Goku plunged down into the inferno on the flying Nimbus, but immediately came back with his tail on fire. Goku yelled out as his Nimbus carried him over a pond where Goku jumped into. Bulma did a quick facepalm and said, "Ah, the kid is bailing." Suddenly, a giant figure with horns appeared behind Bulma, and Oolong holding a giant axe. He went to take a swing, but just in the nick of time, Bulma and Oolong realized he was there and jumped out of the way. The man bellowed out, "My name is the Ox King. Are you guys treasure thieves here to steal treasure from my castle?" Bulma raised her hands in denial, while Oolong was frozen in fear. Goku then used his power pole to bring him back over to the group and said, "Man, it's going to be really hard to get into that castle." Bulma and Oolong screamed as Goku ratted them out. The Ox King then said, "I knew it. You're thieves." Goku then said, "That's not true at all, sir." The Ox King didn't care and began wildly swinging his axe around. Goku managed to dodge the swings, but it seemed to be a struggle for him. Bulma cheered him on. "Get him, kid. Take him down," while Oolong stood still in fear. Goku raised his hand and said, "One moment, please," as he started to take off his bands. As he was doing so, the Ox King noticed the power pole on Goku's back and asked angrily, "How did you get that? Did you steal that?" Goku, having just taken off, his weighted bands, leaving them on the ground, said, "No, my grandpa gave it to me." Goku then lunged at the Ox King. The Ox King then said, "Oh, you're Gohan's kid." Just then, Goku punched the Ox King in the stomach, causing the Ox King's knees to buckle slightly, but he managed to stay standing. The Ox King began coughing slightly as Goku looked up at him and said, "How do you know my grandpa?" The Ox King catches his breath, then says, "Phew! You pack a punch, kid. Yup, you must be the real deal. Only a punch from Gohan's grandson would be enough to almost bring me to my knees." Goku looks up at the Ox King, still confused. The Ox King opens his mouth once more, then says, "Your grandpa Gohan used to be my training partner, you know. We both trained under the great Master Roshi. He was Master Roshi's first apprentice, and I happened to be his second." Bulma finally spoke up and said, "That pervy old geezer at the beach trained you?" The Ox King laughed and said, "Oh yes, I miss him greatly." Goku then said, "I actually got my cloud, the flying Nimbus, from him." The Ox King's eyes began to shine as he remembered his master. The Ox King continued, "Ah, I just sent my daughter to find Master Roshi, coincidentally. I'm starting to worry, though, as she has been gone for quite some time. Goku, do you think that you can find her, help her find Master Roshi, and get the Bancho fan? The Bancho fan is the only thing that can put this fire out. Please? If you do, I will let you marry her." Goku looked at the Ox King confused and said, "I mean, I will try my best." The Ox King said, "Really? Her name is Chi-Chi. Here is a picture." Yamcha and Puar, who happened to be hiding, gander at the photo and realized that it was the girl they knocked out. In a panic, they ran away in hopes that the girl would be okay. Eventually, Yamcha makes his way back over to the fallen girl and shakes her until she wakes up. Chi-Chi backs away from Yamcha and puts her hands on her helmet, ready to fire another laser. Yamcha quickly raises his hands and yells out, "No, no, no! Hey, I'm a friend! Chi-Chi, don't fire that laser!" Chi-Chi quietly asks, "How do you know my name?" Yamcha says, Well, you see, I'm actually a secret admirer of yours. I, have loved you ever since I laid eyes on you." Chi-Chi begins to blush as she says, "Oh, really? Oh my. I can't believe it. You're the first guy who has ever loved me before." Yamcha then sneaks away while Chi-Chi is having her moment. Shortly after, Goku descended from the sky on his flying Nimbus and asked Chi-Chi, "Hey, are you Chi-Chi?" Chi-Chi looked up at Goku and said, "Hey, you're the second boy who knows my name, but I surely don't know who you are." Goku responds with a smile and says, "Oh, your father sent me to look for you and bring you to Master Roshi's so we can get the Bancho fan and you can finally go home." Chi-Chi's eyes lit up as she asked, "Really?" Goku nodded and said, "Mm-hmm. Can you hop on my Nimbus cloud? Only those with a pure heart can ride it." Chi-Chi nods and says, "Oh, don't worry. When you're the daughter of the Ox King, you always behave." Chi-Chi tries to climb up onto the cloud, but she is struggling to get a proper footing. Goku asks her, "Do you need help?" Chi-Chi dismisses Goku's offer with a casual, "No." Just then, Chi-Chi grabbed onto Goku's tail in order to get onto the flying Nimbus. Goku lets out a pained scream as Chi-Chi climbs up on the cloud while pulling on Goku's tail. Goku falls off of the cloud and onto the dirt. Chi-Chi asked, "What just happened?" Goku stuttered out, "My tail? I lose all of my power whenever somebody grabs my tail." Chi-Chi apologizes, but shyly looks away. Goku then climbs back on the Nimbus and says, "Hang on tight, this cloud moves fast. Go flying Nimbus." And with that, Goku and Chi-Chi are on their way looking for Master Roshi. Thank you guys for watching part 5 of this What If. Goku was able to bring the Ox King to his knees, almost in this part. Which is extremely impressive considering Goku's attacks were ineffective in the original. They didn't even tickle the Ox King when Goku attacked. But in this one, Goku's power level is about 43 in this one so far, and the Ox King is to be believed to have a casual power level of 60. We haven't really seen the Ox King go full out though, but Goku probably would not have won that fight, but it was sure interesting once the Ox King let his guard down that Goku was able to get a hit in. Alrighty, see you guys in the next one. See you around.